So, Landon, how's it been back in LA for these tryouts?
It's been eye-opening and it's been enjoyable. In your part of the world, you guys have a pretty good idea of um, one, how to develop players, and two, how to identify players. And that's still it's a big piece of our system that we're missing. And so being here today, these kids have an incredible opportunity to have two of the global leaders in what they do, Real Madrid with football and Abbott as a global health leader, to teach them about football, teach them how to take care of themselves and health and nutrition, but also it's an opportunity. And in our country, we still have people make it that didn't come through an academy, didn't come through the typical channels. And so this is an opportunity for these young men and women to potentially showcase themselves. And so that almost would never happen in England. You know, Jamie Vardy is a bit of a one-off, but for us, it happens more often than you imagine. So it's a huge opportunity for these young kids.
Excellent. And yeah, what advice have you been giving them?
Well, my career track at that time when I was growing up was not linear. It was all over the place, and most of us made it through lots of different ways. So I won't bore you with all the different ways you can make it, but in England, by example, you play for a youth academy, and then you either sign a pro contract or you don't, and it's pretty simple. And for us, there are lots of avenues. There's a young man who just signed for Derby County from Charlotte, Patrick Ajamong, who was playing college soccer a few years ago. Another kid who played in for our national team in the Gold Cup was playing at a very small college a few years ago, and that's still a way for kids to make it. And while that's an inspiring story, I don't think it's healthy that a lot of kids are still making it through those avenues and we're missing those kids. And so the advice I give these young men and women is you never know when your opportunity is going to happen in this country. Take advantage of it, but also take advantage of two powerful brands that are here to help you learn and get better. And if look, from a soccer standpoint, if you don't make it here, it's okay. There's other ways. And from a health and taking care of yourself perspective, take in all the info that Abbott is giving you and providing you, and you can still live a long, healthy life, even if you're not a professional footballer. So it's really nice to watch them kind of soak all that in.
Yeah. And talking of healthy lifestyle, did you always live one throughout your career, and did it kind of vary at kind of the different clubs you were at?
Not always. I grew up by American standards very, very poor. So it was hot dogs for dinner and macaroni and cheese and fish sticks, and we didn't have the opportunity or the ability to eat well and take care of ourselves. But when I became a pro, um, I could understand because I could feel it in my body when I was taking care of myself or not. And so I made a huge effort, especially in the latter part of my career, to take care of myself well. And in modern football, you don't have a choice because there are so many good players, and sometimes you can get away with it for a little bit if you treat your body poorly. But most of the time, it's going to catch up with you, and the next man or woman is waiting to take your spot. So, I asked one of the kids who your favorite player was, and he said Cristiano Ronaldo. And I said, the perfect example, right? He's 40 years old. Yes, he's athletically gifted and genetically gifted, but he doesn't play all the games he plays at 40 years old by not taking care of his body. He has to take care of his body. And I think sometimes people think athletes just show up on game day and they haven't done anything else all week to prepare, and it's just not true. And so it's good to help them understand that.
Oh, excellent. And you've spoke about your mental health a lot throughout your career. Do you think like having a healthy lifestyle will help you improve your mental health?
Absolutely. And there's all forms of healthy lifestyle. When you eat well, you feel better. When you hydrate well, your body feels better. When you exercise, you feel better. When you're outside and in the sun and in fresh air, you feel better, right? So there's many parts of that contribute. And it's nice for someone who's struggled to help people understand that in my case, it was a survival mechanism to do all those things. For them, you do not want to end up in a dark place. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable, and you can absolutely prevent it by taking care of yourself.
Great. And has mentoring these players given you a bit of a bug to get back into coaching?
Yeah, actually, when I was sitting out there this morning, the, it makes me realize how far away we are, sadly, in this country because all of the little habits that these players are lacking are things that I really harp on when I was coaching, and I think that's a big part of what we're missing. There's little things that can go a very, very long way for an aspiring professional player, but it is fun to watch them and even to give small tips and advice, and hopefully that opportunity will arise again.
Yeah, excellent. And how important are events like this to growing the game in the United States ahead of the World Cup next year?
Very important, very important. And I do hope that one of the legacies coming out of the World Cup is that we really can put a renewed emphasis on how we develop young players. When you look at our team objectively, and you can compare it to a squad like England's, we have some good players that play at good clubs, but the best teams in the world have world-class players who won't make their roster next summer. Right? You think of France, they have 10 or 12 attacking players who are absolutely world class, and some of them won't make the World Cup roster next year. And that is solely through how they develop their players. And if we want to be a top country, we have to do the same. You're not gonna, you might catch lightning in a bottle once every 30 years or 50 years, but you're not going to be a sustained, good quality national side if you don't develop players well. It's that simple.
Yeah. What do you think of the United States' chances ahead of next summer?
It's hard for me to handicap anyone's chances, Robert, because this is the first time we're having a 48 team World Cup. And I think the reality, if I try to think through what the group will look like, the group stages, it's hard to know what types of teams you're going to get. And for us, it's unique too, because as one of the hosts, we're going to now be one of the seeded teams. So there will be 12 groups, and we will be one of the top 12 seeds. That never happens in a World Cup where we're one of the seeded teams. So now what's the second tier teams look like? What's the third tier teams and what's the fourth tier teams? And then most importantly, if and when you get out of your group, do you get out as the first place team and potentially play a third place team from another group that's not very good? Now the opportunities are much more viable to advance. Or you finish second and play the second place team of a really good group, or you finish third and play a first place team. Now it's much more difficult. So it's hard for me to accurately gauge. I do think just purely because we're playing in America, we have enough quality players to do relatively well by our standards, that we have the ability to do really well. But it's nobody rolls over for you just because you're the host nation and says, here you go. You get a free walk to the semifinals. You have to earn it, and so we're going to have to earn it.
Yeah. And you were in Austin for the MLS All-Star game last night,
I
right?
was, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
what did you make of the spectacle despite Lionel Messi not being there?
Yeah, the whole week was great. It was the first time I'd really spent time in Austin, Texas, and Major League Soccer, I think, has done, for the most part, an incredible job of picking great cities to expand to. Miami has been great, Austin's great, Atlanta a few years ago. Um, so it was really fun to see how engaged that fan base is and how much they love Austin FC. The game was great. I thought the team performed well given the fact that none of them ever play together and don't really know each other. And certainly, from everyone's standpoint, it would have been great to have Lionel Messi there. I understand why he wasn't there. I wish he had been there. I think it would have been the right thing to do, but everyone can understand that guy's played a lot of football in his life. But it was still a great spectacle and a lot of fun to watch.
Nice. Yeah, and going back to the healthy lifestyle stuff, who's the most healthy lifestyle player, the player who had the most healthy lifestyle that you played with?
Oh, good question. I must have been up near the top. Um, Good question. Surprisingly, because he's British, David Beckham really took care of himself and actually ate quite well. He was probably sick of the British food. So when he came to America, he did take great care of himself. So he surprised me in that. Um, so yeah,
David. Yeah, and I guess David still looks after himself. He's 50 now and still in shape, still
yes, he
modeling.
does. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find it difficult to kind of stay continuing a healthy lifestyle now you're retired and you've got to make your own meals?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I was with some of these young kids this morning. I was thinking to myself back at that time, when you're training that much and exercising that much, you can almost eat what you want and it's not going to matter because you're burning such a high level of calories. But as you get older and older, it gets a lot more difficult. So building those habits young are really important. And my probably my best attribute around my nutrition is that I have the ability to say no to things and the ability to have self-control over what I'm putting in my body. And a lot of people struggle with that, but building that habit at a young age is really important because during the season, if it was after a Saturday night or a Sunday, maybe a Monday, I wasn't going out at all, wasn't drinking any alcohol, and I was taking full control and health of my body until Sunday. And so that habit of just, it wasn't even an option to put bad things in my body has really carried on. And that's really helpful as you get into older age.
Nice. What do you do now to stay fit? Do you still go to the gym or is it a lot of golf?
A lot of golf, a lot of walking. I do ride the bike a lot and I like to swim. So I try to do things less impactful. My body's taken a big beating over the years and try to do a lot of things that are less impactful on my body.
Oh, excellent. And yeah, I was just one more question. It's a bit random out of the blue, but I think Gio Reyna's transferring to Parma right now. And what do you think of
Is
that move?
that confirmed?
I don't think it's confirmed yet, but it's rumored to be happening. But what do you think that would be a good move for him?
Yeah, I think for not only Gio, but any player right now I'm speaking for America because I love the American national team, but I think anybody ahead of six or a year ahead of a World Cup, if you're not playing somewhere, you have to be somewhere where you're playing if you want to be selected for the national team. And for me, maybe I was different and maybe it was a different era, but all of my focus would be on how do I make that roster? And the best way to make that roster is to be playing regularly for a club team. So wherever Gio ends up, I just hope he's playing regularly because for us, he is a very, very big talent. And it would be great to have him part of the national team next summer.
Great. Thanks for your time, Landon. It's been fantastic speaking with you. Yeah, I used to watch you play when you were at Everton, obviously being a West Ham fan though. Um, yeah, but yeah, it's been fantastic to speak to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Appreciate it, Robert.
Thanks,
Talk
John.
soon, man.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.